Welcome, happy stampers, to my happy stamping studio. My name is Judi Anderson from judistamps.com, and I'd like to welcome all you live viewers as well as those of you watching on replay. I hope to inspire you to create wonderful projects with stamps, ink, and paper. So welcome. Today, we've got a new neighbor that moved in, and I need to make a card. So I thought, what a better place to do that than during my live today. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I have grabbed a stamp set out of the annual catalog today. And don't forget, if you haven't heard, our stamps in the annual catalog, that is all stamps in the annual catalog, are 15% off today and tomorrow only. This is a flash sale that they've been running for 3 days, which started yesterday. And I put an announcement out to those that are on my newsletter list. So if you want to get the update on the most recent promotions and specials, make sure you go to judistamps.com, and it's Judi with an I, and sign up for my newsletter. So, like I said, I am going to be doing a welcome card, and I am using the Sending Love stamp set today. I'm going to flip you around, and we're going to get started. Okay, I need to adjust this a little bit. Sorry. Let me figure what's in the way here. There we go. Too many wires. Okay. Get this aimed up. There we go. So I'm going to be using the Sending Love stamp set, and I've got this idea, and I thought I would create it on screen. And as you know, I have an idea when I come on, but I may change that idea as I go along creating. So you are watching the creative process. So I have not made my cards yet in majority of the cases on my lives, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. So I grabbed some papers. I grabbed some the pink. I'm trying to think of the name. Oh my gosh, Petal Pink. Because it coordinates with the Country Woods Designer Series paper, which is one of my favorite Designer Series paper packs. I just love this paper. I am using it all the time. It's one of those paper packs that's very versatile for masculine and feminine cards, and for kids, for natural outdoorsy cards, as well as fancy elegant cards. So while you're on my online store buying those stamp sets the next couple of days, but I wouldn't delay, because if they run out of a particular stamp set, even though we make them, they will go unavailable. So don't put off ordering. So I've got my card base, and I've got some Designer Series paper, and I have an early espresso mat. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here, and we're going to adhere that to our mat. Okay, just put that on like that. And I'm going to go ahead and fold on my score line and burnish that with my bone folder. It's very important, I feel, to burnish that line with that bone folder so you get a good crisp fold and it doesn't have a tendency of opening up on you. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this, because I'm going to build upon this right here. So I am going to put this kind of in the center, up and down. You're going to notice I have a bigger gap at the top and the bottom than I do on the sides. So that is elongated. Okay, so we're going to grab our stamps. So the first stamp I'm going to grab is this mailbox. So how many of you love to welcome new neighbors into your neighborhood? That is my way of getting to know them. I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. And then I have a piece of crumb cake. I've got a bunch of papers here, and we're going to stamp this on the crumb cake, and then we are going to die cut it out but we're actually going to stamp this twice. First, I'm just going to ink up the mailbox. And actually, oh, no, I'm going to leave it white. And we're going to be fussy cutting this out. There we go. Set that to the side. Now you can go ahead and ink up the entire stamp. Just tap, tap, tapping. Remember, when you ink your stamps up, you tap, you do not push. And we are going to put this right on here. It doesn't have to be straight because we are going to be die cutting it. How many of you love the die cuts? I know. They make cutting out so easy, even though I do love to fussy cut. So I will still fussy cut at times. You're going to see today we are going to be doing some fussy cutting. So before we get too far here, we're going to go ahead and color this. So I am going to grab my crumb cake Stampin' Blends. And with the darker one, I am going to do some shadows here. Because, you know, we have shadows underneath, right under here. Okay, and then we'd have another shadow down here. And you can have your shadows go down as far as you want. Now, I wouldn't have to color this, and you're wondering, well, why would you use your, oh, I mixed up something. Oh, no, this is a light crumb cake. Stamp on crumb cake and then color with crumb cake. Well, that way it doesn't look like you've colored on white. But I am not coloring everything on here. So I am just going to add some strokes on here. Okay, just like that, going down from the top. And then this way, it's not going to be solid, it'll be more wood-like. Leaving some lighter in between, and that is why I stamped on my crumb cake. Okay, we're going to go across here. Okay, so our fence post is colored, except I want to do some green grass at the bottom. So I am going to grab my old olive, I hope. Yes, my old olive. I'm grabbing these out of where I store them. I didn't grab it ahead of time, and I'm just going to do some strokes. And it doesn't matter if I stay within those lines of the grass. That's just going to add some dimension to it. And I'm going down below because I'm not quite sure where that's going to end. So we've got that. Then we are going to grab our mailbox. So I do want to color this. I do want to shadow it a little bit. I want to shadow it very lightly with the shadows. I want to make our flag red, because most of the mailboxes around here that have flags are red. How about by you? Let me know. Do you have red flags on your mailboxes? If you have a flag, to let them know that you have mail in the mailbox to send out. Or do you have a different color? If you have a different color, let me know. Also, while you're at it, let me know. Do you like using the Stampin' Blends to color? Or do you like markers? So put in the comments marker if you prefer the markers. I'm just once again doing strokes on the inside here. And then I'm actually going to take my color lifter and I'm going to put some shadows around that flag for a little bit of a shadow. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is, because I don't want that gray to be quite that dark, I just want it to be a shadow. So I am going to take my color lifter and do strokes again. And the reason why I do strokes is because I find that when you use that color lifter, it also blends out that color a little bit. I do want that bottom a little bit darker. And you will see that as I'm cutting this out, that's going to be quite a bit lighter. So that's what we have on the mailbox. So I don't have my paper snips here, but I do have a pair of scissors. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'm going to cut it out close to the lines because I don't want a lot of white showing, if any white at all. And go ahead and cut this. Now remember, I'm going to layer this on top of the die cut piece. But I did want this a different color. But yes, you know, I know some of you are thinking, Judy, you could have just stamped the whole thing on white and just colored the post. And yeah, I could have, but I get a different look this way. And it also gives my mailbox a little bit more dimension to it by layering it onto that crumb cake. I'm cutting, and I'm just about cutting right on the black line. I don't want to leave any white around it. And this is where I say, you know what, I don't mind fussy cutting. I know some of you don't like it at all. And some of you say that you don't mind fussy cutting. So, you know, to each your own. If you didn't want to fussy cut this, you could stamp it on all the basic white. Trim that down a little bit more. So we've got that done. So I am going to grab my mini cut and emboss machine, and we're going to do some cutting. So let me move some of this out of the way. And this is when I lose pieces, right? I know you don't lose any pieces when you stamp. I know that I am probably the only one that does, right? How many of you lose pieces when you stamp? And then you're looking, you go, now I put it right where I knew it would be, and it's disappeared. So I'm going to put this on, and I just want to show you something. Look at that. See how you really can't tell that I colored it? It's just a little bit darker, and it's really darker where I put that dark crumb cake. So I just wanted to point that out. So you wouldn't really have to color that if you didn't want to. And you could have just used the light crumb cake to do the shadowing, but it doesn't show up as much. So we're going to line this up to where we want it on here. Get that lined up. I'm going to take a Post-it note and put it on top. Go ahead and put this on top of there. Push it in. Oops, I layered. Yep. Okay, start it and then cut. Okay, I do have another piece I want to cut out. Let's get this off of here. And we have that piece cut that quick. That is one reason I am a fan of die cuts. I love punches even more because they are just a flip away, and I just got ink on my mailbox. But that's okay because our mailboxes, wrong die. Our mailboxes are not perfectly clean. At least, well, mine's black here and we have it on the house. We live where the mailman still comes up to our house. So let me know, do you have a mailbox route that your mailbox is at the road and your mailman comes along the road to deliver your mail? Or is it delivered at your house, right at your house, right out your front door? Where we used to live, it was delivered at the street. But from what I understand from our mailman, that they can't change it here. Once they have started delivering at the house, they don't change it. So this is where I got a little bit of a mess on there. So I'm not too sure if that is water-based or if that is some of my blends. So I'm just going to try to color lift that a little bit. And it's going to leave like a little dirty spot, but to me, that's a-okay. So what is this? This is a little envelope. And we just fold it in like that. And you are creating an envelope. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this envelope. Well, it's a little bit big. Maybe we won't. For at least what I'm doing today. Okay, so now in this stamp set, they've got some words and sentiments. And I don't want to use the sentiment as it is because I don't want to put a little love from me to you. And I don't want to do welcome friend quite yet. So I am just going to use the welcome from me to you. So I'm going to get those stamps out and get the welcome. And then we're going to get from me to you out. Now, ideally, I would use my Stampin' Write marker in Early Espresso. However, it's not where it belongs. So I am going to take pecan pie instead. It's going to coordinate with it, so it's going to be fine. So I'm going to figure out, I want the welcome over here, and then to the right is where I want the from me to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the brush tip, and on the brush tip side, let me get this here, I am just going to ink up the from me to you part. Okay, and I'm going to do that first because that's going to be at the end. Ink that up, and notice how when I color, I'm going on the side of the marker, not with the tip like this. I'm holding it and it's on the side. And this is one way you can omit things from your stamps. The other way is you could use a Post-it note. So I've got from me to you. Now I want to do the welcome. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to color the welcome and leave off friend. Because they're not a friend yet, they're new. I'm hoping we become friends. And then I'm going to put this right here. And I don't like the way that looks, so we're going to do it again. We have 2 sides to every piece of paper. Isn't that wonderful? So we don't have to be perfect the first time. And I should have done what I was going to do to begin with. So we're going to ink that up and do from me to you. And I'm going to color the welcome again on the side of my Stampin' Write marker. Oh, hello. How are you doing today? Say hi as you come in. So I am going to put this at a slant. That way I don't have to worry if I line it up quite right. And I didn't get the O. So I'm going to just take my marker and just complete that O. Just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so now I want a little bit more of a smudge mark on there. So I am going to grab my water painter and just get a little bit of water there. I want it watered up a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to use my pecan pie and a little bit of Early Espresso. And I don't want that one. I want the skinnier one, not the skinniest, but the skinnier one. Got water on there. I don't have water in this. And that's why I'm just picking up water with my brush. Okay. I go to my lid, and I usually have ink in the lid. I'm going to pick up some ink there. I'm going to put that down there, pick up some more water, pick up some more ink, pick up some of this ink, and I'm going to purposely do some dirt on my mailbox. So that is one way of taking that opportunity. Now we probably would want a clean mailbox, but like I said, a lot of the mailboxes around here that are on the street get dirty from the dust on the road. And we're just going to put that right on there. I am going to use my liquid glue. Someone recently sent me an email and said, Judy, what is your favorite glue to use? And I answered that in my newsletter this week. So if you don't get my newsletter, make sure you go to judystamps.com and get it so that you can find out my answer. I'm not going to tell you here what my answer is. Okay, this is like this. And there is a little bit of the crumb cake showing through on the back, but that's okay. To me, that is a shadow. Let's get that. Like I said, I have a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. And just like that. So we're going to put that on here. Maybe putting it this way. But first, I have my welcome. And I'm going to take some twine. And this is going to be about 12 inches of twine. And we are going to wrap it around there. Leave a tail like this. Oh, that's about 4 inches or so. I'm going to wrap it around once and come around the second time. And then I want this to be held down. So I am going to grab a glue dot. My glue dots are my third hand to help me out. So I want this to be right here. I just put that right down there. And that's where my knot's going to be. So that's going to hold the knot so I can tie my bow. Let's just get that on there. And you're going to notice that when I tie my bows, my piece that I'm tying it on is upside down. I find that the way that I tie bows in particular, that when I do it upside down, my bow is right side up when I'm done. So if you tie a bow and you always tie it right side up, try tying it upside down. So it depends. I think if you're right or left-handed. I'm right-handed, so I find that tying it with just like this. Okay, so here we go. Now, when this set came out originally, it was in our mini catalog, and it was a Valentine's set. But I view it as something more than just a Valentine's Day. I view it as a set that you can use for all occasions. So we are going, it just depends the paper that you use. It depends what you put with it. You can use other sentiments from other stamp sets that you have and other fun images with it. I did one that I had a flower vine going up the mailbox and stuff for a friend for her birthday. Okay, so I want this to protrude one end or the other. So I am going to trim this just a little bit. Well, this side I'm going to trim with my scissors. Be careful not to cut your bow. I think that's going to be enough because I want to have it there and not protrude past my card. So we have that here, and we are going to put this here. And so I don't want to put a dimensional here. I'm actually going to use a glue dot to glue that top piece down because it's already elevated. Now, I don't have to worry about how thick this is because I am going to hand deliver this with a tray of my chocolate chip cookies. So when you welcome your neighbors, do you bring any goodies over there when you say hi? I find that nowadays, in particular, a lot of the younger kids, I call them younger, but they're not really that much younger, but they're younger than me, don't always do welcome things. And I have met so many neighbors that way, and become great friends with them. Okay, so there is the front of my card right there. Simple. I'm told Dave to observe to see if they have a pet, because if they have a cat or a dog, I'm going to put one of those on here too. But I want to wait to personalize that. But you could do a bunch of these up and have them ready to give to your neighbors. So don't forget, we have our 15% off stamp sale going on through tomorrow. It was for 3 days only. So take advantage of that. We have our kits collection on sale also. And we have a special to sign up if you'd like to join my team. So until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping.